Morning, everyone. We welcome you to this week RigER webinar. The topic for today is oilfield purchasing and purchase orders. The energy service industry unique organizational characteristics directly affect the design of procurement process and development of asset management system. The key business drivers of procurement optimization are cost and risk reduction, while standardization of processes, profit growth through cost savings, and better management of existing inventories. Almost every purchase order or vendor's invoice is fundamentally different in what information is provided and how it is laid out. And this is one of many reasons why organizations turn to a managed service to help with procurement and accounts payable processes. RigER tracks vendors' performance, purchases of rental units, consumables, and services, converts incoming invoices into field tickets, and maintains history of all those actions. And in this webinar, we'll show you how purchasing is managed in RigER. Here's the agenda for today's webinar. We will talk a little bit about our company and product, and then we'll discuss purchasing process and show how purchasing is managed in RigER, and we'll also look into purchase orders. At the end of the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to ask any questions you must have. Just type your questions to a Q&A section in your Zoom control panel. Our presenters today are Michael, who is a Chief Product Officer in RigER, and Nikolai, VP of Business Development. So I'll pass mic to Nikolai, who will talk a bit about our company and the product. Hello, Nikolai.
Hello, Dasha. Thank you very much for the intro and a quick prep for the main part of our webinar today. So welcome everyone again. To those of you who are new to RigER, you're not a customer yet, but are looking at different options, I would like to spend a few seconds, literally speaking, about RigER and what we are. So as a company, we started about 10 years ago with the main idea to digitize oilfield services and rental operations. And as part of our development of product and interaction with our market, we've just honed on some specific things that we are focusing solely to deliver to our client base. And under the umbrella of digitalization of the oil and gas, we're focused specifically on mobilizing interaction of people in the field using mobile tickets and connecting them seamlessly to the people in the office. So another part that we are focusing on specifically for the oilfield companies, for the field service and rental companies rather, is that part of their operations. We know that a lot of companies have to have their assets to make sure that they deliver the services correctly, and information about the assets, inventory management, field tickets, and the jobs has to flow between different parts of organizations. So that's what we're focusing on and enabling for our clients. And paperless format is at the core of it. We also understand that every client is a little different. So there are a multitude of different service and rental companies out there. And each of them has different size and scale and different types of processes inside. So part of what we do is we provide configurable options to different clients, because you may have a huge fleet or a shorter fleet, so everything has to be managed in one system. And as an organization, then as a follow-on, you can see that different functions can need to be enabled in RigER. And just again, to give you an idea of what RigER is capable of delivering as operations management services solution, is that from purchases that we're going to be talking a little bit more today in detail, to sales management, where you talk about different prices, to the whole suite of oilfield services and operations, from dispatching and HR, to the asset management and equipment rentals side of the things, including manufacturing and the finance. So all in all, RigER is a comprehensive operations management system that can be configured and tailored specifically to your needs. And to dwell a little more on how we do that, so we do configure the system depending on your specific requirements and our organizational structure. And we enable different types of scalable solutions through a number of different modules. So modular approach to the system allows us to create a unique configuration that fits your needs, your business. So there's a suite of different modules that is presented on the slide. All in all is interconnected under one roof on one platform with multiple different features and dashboards and reports that are enabled for different modules in the system. And we also have significant mobile component to it. And another part that is a huge one that is important to organizations, especially specialized organizations, because we understand some are technology companies, others are more asset-focused companies, the third companies are more service-focused and oriented. So everybody works in an ecosystem of different software applications in an organization. And since we are a cloud-based application, we allow for integration with a number of different options and software packages that companies may already be using. And that includes not only the Office suite and the business analytics suite, but also on the technical side, that includes equipment maintenance and telemetry, enterprise resource planning systems, such as an accounting ones, also e-billing solutions and the sales tracking, electronic digital signature solutions. So in the end, with RigER and whatever the application you may already be using, we can create an encompassing framework for you to run your operations smoothly. And a couple more slides just before we move on to the major part of the presentation. So we wanted to say thank you to those of you who joined us, and you already are customers. We appreciate you and giving us the opportunity to help you. And we welcome aboard more names and logos and companies and businesses, and are eager to hear your challenge and see how we might be able to help you. So on that note, thank you again for your time listening to the quick intro. I wanted to pass microphone to Michael, who's going to dive right into the subject matter of today's webinar and discuss the purchasing process. So take it away, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikolai and Dasha. Hello, everyone. Let's talk about purchasing today. And one of the things which we'd like to focus today will be purchasing. And there are lots of questions are asking about the difference between purchasing and procurement. So our definition, the purchasing is the single process, usually focusing on the particular transaction, particular deal with the particular vendor. And the procurement is more strategic approach, understanding the needs and specifications, understanding the vendor management setup, evaluating vendor performance, and procurement analysis as well. So today we will focus on the purchase requisition, PO creation, approval, receiving receipt and payment. So kind of a very straightforward operations. And when we reviewing the process, we see several different group of users which we have or participants on that process. Now, management, operations, and field services, the accounting team, and vendor. So how everything starts and how everything usually happen. We have needs. Need to purchase something, and the operations and the field service analyze this, and or it could be a procurement department, depending on the structure of the organization, and they try to see that the vendor list and understand who can provide this service. After that, several vendor proposal and quotes generate the PO request. So the selection process happen, and we create the pre-PO document, PO request. And after that, everything goes to the management team. Different organizations run a different way. It could be technical approval first, then financial approval second, or it could be one person approval. It really depends on the organization structure and the communication within the organization. It could be multi-level delegation authority matrix movement from one department to another department, from one person to another person. But at the end of the day, we have a result, PO approved or rejected. And of course, if it's PO rejected, it just go back to the requester. Requester identify all the details and correct and add more information about why it's needed, and provide this information back to the management. So after the approval, the notification goes to the vendor and to the field operations, and we start receiving services, goods, materials from the vendor. And usually it's done by bill of lading or tickets or any other documents which register the receiving the quantity, the price, the amounts, and when it happened. The next step, again, usually it's the invoice, the purchase invoice, when we have the receipt and accounting receive these documents, and the next step is the payment. Now, as soon as we ready, we see all our PO data and receiving and receipt. We need to analyze and finalize the PO, so PO closed. It could be run manually, or usually we see that we like to analyze the three-way control PO, BOA, LPI, and understand how line by line they corresponded to each other. So it could be done by accountant. Then they can run the PO control report, open PO reports, and run PO closing procedure. Or it could be done manually, or it could be run automatic with particular vendors of particular transactions. You can set up this as the automatic closing procedure. So this is a normal PO process in the oil field, which we use for equipment purchases, for services, for consumables and parts. When we talk about document flow, it could be run on the mobile devices. So mobile purchases, PO request, and mobile approval. Digital PO approval based on the structure of the approval. We create generate the purchase order. We have a number of bill of ladings and purchase invoices, have a pre-clear control for the purchase reports and dashboard, and then have accounting integrations. This is how this process looks from the different view. And when we talk about purchases and RigER, we have a separate big module which we call purchases, and you can see one of the settings where we can purchase anything: equipment, services, parts, consumables, and we use purchase order request, purchase orders, BOL in and BOL out if we receive something and then return to the vendor. The purchase invoice and purchase payment is another document. Another optional thing is the chargeback, when we can convert purchase invoices to the delivery ticket or to the field tickets, and mark up the services from our vendors to our clients. And some service documents, fast purchase procedure, give us an ability to enter purchases faster. And initial balances give us an ability to create, start using RigER. Usually we use this for creating initial balances. Reports and dashboards are very useful and popular tool in this module as well. So, but the oil field purchases includes other transactions which where we can see the PO equivalent documents. For example, the sub-rental module. When we have a sub-rental operations, we have sub-rental agreement which acts as PO in this case. And this document become a parent document for sub-rental tickets and sub-rental invoice. The rework transactions, equipment rework, when we have a third-party repairs of our equipment. In this case, we use purchase orders, but with specific types of purchase orders, rework. And in this case, we have reverse algorithm, reverse movement of the equipment, BOL out, BOL in, and then purchase invoice. And the final job costing module give us an ability to track the field purchases when we have expense claims, when the employees can create their own expense claims with the receipts and provide this. But we will not talk about those modules today. You can see other webinars about subrentals rework and job costing, or ask us to provide a particular demo for that. So let's move forward and talk about how the standard process organized, design in RigER, and what we have as a part of it. So with the first document, again, it's an optional document, PO request. It could be a first step, but in some organizations use PO as a first step as well. So it's an optional document. However, the organizations like to create all the details about what's required and what kind of types of the service or what kind of parts they'd like to purchase. And you see lots of different details which we provide to the approver with the attached files. So attached files, doc history, related documents is a standard setting for any documents in RigER, and you can use them with together with the statuses. We can build a particular workflow for that. And the next step is the PO itself, the purchase order, where we can create full information. We create the PO and enter full information about this particular deal. So we have vendor billing address, department shipping address, tax schedule, purpose, which is a separate list of purpose where the company can create their own definitions and understand what kind of classification should be applicable here. Delivery date, expected delivery date, and the budgeting month, just for reporting purposes, understanding in what month we need to include this amount from the budgeting perspective. And the items, here we have different types of items. It could be materials, it could be services, and we can see all the details line by line in our PO. This PO can go to the approver. So because the status of this PO is open right now, and when the approval receive it, and after the approval, the status will be approved. And status is a very important feature for each document, and it gives us an ability to create workflows and understand in what stage each particular document are situated right now. So talking about PO statuses, everything starts from the open. Open means it's draft PO, and we just started this request. It could be a temporary status quote requested when we can send several quote requests to different vendors and start collecting. So we understand that the purchase manager working on that deal, and as soon as decision made, the status of the PO could be changed for the approval, and everything goes to the approval management. Depending on the approval process, which we will discuss a little bit in a second, literally. So the decision could be approved or rejected. Rejected means that we need to have more information. There are several reasons for the rejection: out of budget, no details, or we need to use different vendor, and other stuff. And if everything works fine, then everything goes to the then the approval happen, and we receive the approval notes from our management team, and status of the PO become approved. And as soon as we start receiving services goods, automatically PO status switch to processing. And as soon as we close everything from the line by line perspective, the status of the PO could be switched to closed automatically or manual, which we just discussed. And in some cases, there is a cancel status, which is an optional, and cancel could be done only for open quote requested or rejected, or for approval statuses. After approval, we couldn't cancel the PO in some cases. The approval process itself could be a very simple, or it could be a very complex. For small organizations, usually it's a one-person function, and the person can approve all the invoices, or it could be structured with 2 or 3, 5 persons. When the organization is growing, and then the structure is becoming bigger and bigger, the approval process become more advanced, as lots of steps. And here we have an example of the PO approval process. When the first PO requester enter a new PO request, the purchase request generated, and everything goes to the purchase manager, and the purchase manager dashboard showing what kind of request we have, who needs to create a new PO. So this is a kind of a first selection. If it's a legit request, do we need to proceed with that? And if yes, then we create new purchase order. And after that purchase order, we understand based on the delegation authority matrix to whom this purchase request should go. And it could be several ways. Technical approval from the technical perspective. So it could be technical specialist showing, okay, yeah, this is exactly what we need from the technical characteristic, and could be financial approval. Then we see, okay, we have budget for that, and it's authorized level for the each person. And this can be in the escalation process, the approval escalation, up to the CEO level, where we can set up. And if it's approved, when PO approved, we receive all the notifications, etc. So if we talk about the delegation authority and how it's correspond with the business entity structure. So this is an example of one of the location setup where we can set up different positions, check the number of positions, check the levels, and understanding the PO approval limit from 2, and who is the manager. If the limit is over that number, then everything goes to the, in this case, for example, for the first line, for the director of operations. So the director of operations will receive all the POs more than 3,000 in this case. And in some cases, what we saw, it could be a very time sensitive PO approval decisions. And to avoid that kind of delay, if the person could not approve or not in place or at vacation or sick, whatever, we have a pending hours. So for example, for here we have for account manager, we'll have 2 days to approve the PO. If not, everything goes to the director of operations automatically after 48 hours. This is how the entire structure of the PO approval build. But again, it's more advanced settings, and it could be done with big organizations. With small organizations, it could be very simple process. Let's talk about PO closing and how we close PO and what kind of the implication we can see here with different statuses of PO. Of course, we like to close all the POs, and we like to control all the items which we receive and correspond with the three-way match should work. So PO, BOL, and PI. And by each line, we have a quantity control and the amount control. Understanding that we receive the same quantity which we ordered and the same amount which we ordered. The only exception here with the amount, for some of the purchase order transactions, we can allow the accountant to enter specific fees, for example, custom fees or delivery or any other charges, which is usually not predictable when we are approved PO. But usually we limit that on 2 to 3% of the PO amount. So now when we talk about different closing scenarios, we can understand how those three documents are entered in to the system, and we can see 6 different scenarios. Maybe could be more if we have more documents, but in general, it could be a first scenario when we have a purchase order, and then we have bill of lading, and then we have purchase invoice. Another scenario when we have purchase order, purchase invoice, and then bill of lading. So kind of invoice come first, and then we have shipment. Other scenarios, kind of purchase invoice, PO, and BOL, PO, PI. So it's kind of different types of approaches. And of course, we all the time need to control the three-way match and control the process. To do that, we have the automatic closing procedure. And when we and this procedure run when we post the bill of lading or purchase invoice. As soon as we post the bill of lading and a PO in approval status, so PO become processing status. So we change status of the PO. If we have purchase invoice, however, and we have three-way match, then we convert PO status from approved to closed. And same situation with the PI. So if we have BOL and we have the last purchase invoice, and we have three-way match, and then we close PO as well. Another step of the process is the accounting integration or integration of ERP, when we need to synchronize vendors, POs, and invoices. In many cases, the purchase order, the accounting, when we start accounting setup, we create a specific connector to the item card, and connect accounting item with item card. And there are 2 documents which we can send to the ERP or accounting system, the PO and purchase invoice. And then we set up the entire list of items in RigER connected with a list of items in ERP. Then through that map and table, then we're ready to run regular accounting integration when we send information back and forth between 2 different systems. And this is how it works. This is how it looks like. So we have a name of item, and we have a purchase item corresponding to this item. And again, it could be 1-to-1, or it could be many-to-1. So in this case, for example, different parts, different inventory parts goes to the one item in accounting system parts inventory. So when we talk about RigER and ERP integrations, there are so many different integration points like asset management, billing, invoicing, expense claims, inventory, time tracking, HR items. There are this is what we're discussing today: purchases and account receivables, and integration with the business partners or companies. This is very important, and of course that it will connect with the inventory and connect with the assets. So let me pass mic to Indra, and she will show you how the actual purchase procedure works in RigER.
Hello everyone. Let me show you how rental units purchase procedure works in RigER system and what is document workflow. It is very important to generate documents by the sequence in RigER, and purchase procedure consists of these documents. So it starts from purchase order, then purchase invoice, and finally generating a bill of lading. So let's say we would like to proceed a purchase for some rental equipment and add them to the inventory in RigER system. So we start purchase procedure by generating a purchase order. So we are going to purchase module in RigER system and selecting purchase order. Here we click generate and we are creating a new purchase order document. So in purchase order document, starting we select the correct document date when we are proceeding the purchase. We selecting the vendor from where we are purchasing the equipment. And this time I'll select our virtual vendor. Then you can enter the address, billing address, selecting the department for which we are purchasing the rental equipment. If it's required, you can select the tax schedule, which will be applied for this purchase. And also we can select a contact from the vendor with whom we will be dealing for this purchase procedure, and add all other required information for this purchase like job number, customer PO number, and so on. And then we select, let's say we expecting to get this rental equipment on the 3rd of December. And then we just need to select what we are purchasing. So let's click add and let's select, for example, generator 100 kilowatt. And let's say that we are purchasing quantity 2 of them, and the price, we are adding the price. Then let's say we are selecting, we are purchasing a second rental equipment, like generator 45 kilowatts, and we will be purchasing one of them, and let's add price for it. So when all the documents, when all information in purchase order is entered and all items, all equipment, rental equipment is added, we can post this document. So click post. So the next document by the workflow should be purchase invoice. So let's click generate and select purchase invoice. Purchase invoice will be generated and the full list of equipment from purchase order will be added. But let's say we are getting not the full order, just at the moment we will be getting generators 100 kilowatts. So let's select the correct date. Let's say the 3rd day of December. Now we need to add the purchase invoice number. So it's manually entered field. So you can add the purchase invoice number, same from the invoice, what you are getting from the vendor. And then just let's click post, and purchase invoice is generated and posted. The next document is bill of lading. So let's click generate and select bill of lading. A new bill of lading document is generated, and here we need to select the unit numbers for this generator, which we are purchasing, because it's a serialized rental unit. Okay, so let's click here. And if we have already entered this unit numbers in the system, we can select from the list. If not, you can just click add and just enter a new unit number to add all the details about the unit, like module. It relates with the rental unit. It is related with the rental unit generator 100 kilowatts. So the serialized number, if you need, you can add a comment and all other information. Okay, at the moment for this purchase, I already have unit numbers added in the system. So I just select them, okay. And don't forget to change the date to the correct one of the document when these unit numbers comes into the inventory and becomes available for the jobs. So then everything is correct here. We can click post, and 2 generators 100 kilowatts are purchased and becomes available in the system. So we can go back, for example, to purchase order, and there is a button update actual received and built. So we can click here, and now we can see that we already received and built 2 generators 100 kilowatts, and we are still waiting for 1 generator 45 kilowatts. And to check the balance of purchase, so we have a report for that. So if you go to purchase module, you can select PO control report. And in this report, you can select the PO number, the department for which you want to check, or the vendor, and just click generate. So you can see all the details about the current situation with this purchase in this report too. So let's go back to purchase order, and let's say 2 days passed and we get the last item, the last equipment, what we purchased in this purchase order, the generator 45 kilowatts. So let's generate again the purchase invoice for that equipment, and system sees that generators 100 kilowatts was already invoiced and received. So in the next purchase invoice, system automatically adds only what's left on the purchase order, what's not invoiced and not received yet. So let's check all the details here. If everything okay, let's put the purchase invoice number. Okay. And let's just click post. So the next step, we can go back actually and check in purchase order the balance. We can see the generator 45 kilowatts is built, and we need just receive them in the system. So to receive them in the system, we need to generate bill of lading. Let's go to purchase invoice, or we can do it from purchase order. So and generate bill of lading. So yes, here we need to select the unit number for this generator, which we are receiving. Let's click here, and I have already added the unit number in the system. If you don't have, you can click add and just create a new unit number in the system and select it. So let's select it, click OK. And if everything is okay, we can just post this bill of lading document, and let's go back to purchase order. And now if we check the balance, we can see that everything is received and everything is billed for this purchase order. So this is how the purchase procedure works in RigER system.
Thank you, Indra. This is kind of like a step-by-step process, very extensive demo of equipment purchase, pretty much similar approach you can use for services and consumables purchases or any other inventory items purchases. And let me talk a little bit about best practices and tricks which we use to speed up the process. As you see, it's very detail oriented and very time consuming. Could be if we will not use those small things. First of all, when we talk about fast purchase, parts purchases and parts structure and building the entire nomenclature of all the materials, we realize that in many organizations that it will require to create a particular structure, creating different groups of items, understanding how they corresponding to each other, and how easy to search and to find. And one of the approach will be like kind of standardization of the names and use the part numbers. And some organizations they face the situation with different vendors have different part numbers, same part but different part numbers. So they choose which part number they use, or they use their own part number. And one of the settings which we create for that kind of situation, you can set up the preferred vendor from the vendor list. You can select the vendor for each particular item, select the preferred vendor, and this will speed up the PO creation. Say, for example, you have this Systems Incorporation as a preferred vendor. So we can set up, in some cases, automatic PO generation and sending to the vendor an email with that PO. Again, this could be done with the organization with whom you have very good relationship and the integrated transactions. Another thing, then you can have different part numbers for different vendors and different description for different vendors. So in this case, when we create PO, we use a vendor part number associated with this vendor and vendor description associated with this vendor. So to help them find this part faster. Another approach is with the organization with very multi-department structure. We can use the PO prefix to create PO number. Say, for example, in this situation, we have lots of different purchase orders, and we have a specific department prefix for kind of all the service. POs will start from capital S, and you see this is the way how it's organized in this particular list of all POs. And of course, you can sort this by department, but again, sometimes by PO number, you can easily recognize what is it about. Another thing which speed up the approval process, it's kind of email notification, and we use this daily. So this is one of the email notification come to my email from our system, and you can see that PO order number, all the PO information, and I just cut the rest of the email, but down the road you can see all the details about this PO. So, and of course I can send the approval right from here. Or another approach, I can approve PO and expense claims via Telegram chatbot on my mobile. So I receive all new POs for approval in this bot, and I can open PDF file, review this purchase order, understand, and click approve button, and after that PO approval status will apply to this PO in the system. So this is how it works. So we're using the Telegram chatbot. It could be different applications, same thing, could be run on the mobile app as well. This is it for today, and we're ready to Q&A session.
Thank you, Michael. I'll just check quick if we have any questions. And yes, actually we do. So the first question is it possible to attach original documents, for example, purchase invoice, shipping documents, etc., and keep them in the system?
Yes, absolutely. Every single document has the attachment section where you can attach a limited number of documents. It could be the proposal codes, the signed PO, purchase invoices, bill of ladings. Some organizations we saw that they even attach the certification for the equipment which they purchased. So it's possible.
Perfect, thank you. Another question is, can we have the purchase approval process without delegation authority metrics to make it simpler?
Yes, we can skip the very, very complex approval hierarchy and make it one-step process, or even for some transactions, we can even give the ability to enter past transactions without a formal approval process. We call it fast purchasing, and it gives you an ability to create and skip the approval. Say, for example, if you have repeated transactions which was already approved by management, so the accountant can use the authorized accountant, of course, can use the fast purchasing approach and run this without approval. So it's very flexible system. Of course, we need to assign particular rights to a particular person, users, to control it on the right way.
Perfect, thank you. So the next question is from Christopher. How robust is the approval workflow? For instance, can the approvals route differently based on locations, and what is being approved?
Yes, this done by organization structure, and right now the maximum number of levels which we have with our clients is 6 to 7. It means that the level 1 is a pure requester, and then we have manager, director, and the highest is CEO. And we can even create two different ways of the approval. I mean, two parallel ways. It's a technical approval first and financial approval second. So, and it really depends on what kind of structure in the approval process company desire to have, and what they see as a benefit of that kind of process, because we understand that the main the two different characteristics of the approval pure approval process is a speed and a control. Okay, so from one perspective, we need to understand that all the expenses should be authorized properly, and the second, the process should not last forever. It should be fast. So there are two different limitations which we have everywhere in each process.
Good, thank you. Another question: does the PO only live in RigER, or will it integrate and also show up in the ERP system?
Yes. So there are several ways, and it's an optional. Usually, most of our clients, they integrate 100% integrate purchase invoices, but some of the clients, they prefer to have POs in ERP as well. So I couldn't tell you what percentage, but there is. Go ahead.
Yeah, the key thing I just wanted to add, Michael, since I've just read this and heard this question, is that indeed it depends on what you prefer. And since we have a flexible and robust system that allows you to both route approvals differently depending on your preferences are, because whole organizational structure lives in RigER. So we can set it all up specifically however you need. We just need to sit down and discuss. And as far as the PO is concerned, again, it depends on what specifically you want. And that's the beauty and benefit of RigER. And this is what we've started doing always for our clients, just because everybody's a little different. This is what I was kind of kicked off of saying, that depends on what your process is. We can set up integration however it needs to work for you.
Yeah, and talking about PO integrations, and this is exactly that prefix. This is exactly designed to split different POs for different departments in the ERP. So this prefix not only for human but for the ERP integration as well.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah,
Great
I
questions.
don't see any more questions.
Yeah, so thank you very much again. Well, I know that we're just coming to the top of the hour. We want to make sure that you guys have got a good grasp of what RigER is, and breadths and widths of how the solution might be able to fit your specific purchasing department and your purchasing needs in organizations. So if you have any more questions, do feel free to reach out to us over email or just phone us. There's a number you can call to us. So we're not one of those vendors that you never reach out on the phone and get only replies by email. We are human and we speak so with our clients and prefer to have a verbal communication. So feel free to use that channel. And I'd like to thank everybody for presenting today and for attending today. Again, any more questions, let us know. We'll be able to walk you through some of the processes and details and modules of the system in a one-on-one basis.
Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.